Hey, hey. Haven't been in Crane's Roost in like a long time. Everybody's watching the ducks. One of them was going at the dog here that was trying to sniff it. Here at sunset today, we decided to get out of the house, come down. All the squirrels who were looking for my wife the last time I was here, they can find her now. She can feed them. She's their friend. Now there's a little break in the clouds, the sun going down. Haven't really made any videos for a while. I've been seriously neglecting my YouTube channel, but that's what happens when you're sick and can't stop coughing every time you do something. Though I've had a few interesting subjects that crossed my mind that I wanted to make videos about. But I saw something earlier that I was watching about FERS, the Federal Employee Retirement System, and which is what most of us at the Postal Service are under. There might still be a few unlucky people who are still working for like as many years as you would have to be working to still be under civil service. Pretty much everybody at the post office anymore is under FERS. I think pretty much all the civil service people have retired. Unless there actually are a few crazy people from the early 80s still around. Which there may be a couple. Because I think that's when it all changed over. With all these things, I don't know if this crazy guy up here is talking to himself or somebody on his like earbuds or something. Wants the rest of us to hear what they're talking about. But they may be changing some stuff with FERS. Like the main things that I noticed were the fact that they might try and change it so your retirement, the number that they use to calculate your pension may end up being based on your high 5 years instead of your high 3, you know. If you assume, as with most people, especially in a union job, that you keep getting a little bit of a raise, or at least a little cost of living increase or something, that most people just assume that unless they've done some higher level position at some other point in their career, some of these guys that went off and did acting postmaster jobs and things like that, you know, they may have gotten their high 3 and already doing something like that and then gone back to their kind of like local job. And most people, though, especially as a carrier, it's based on your base salary, you know, not what you did with overtime and everything. So even if you now are making maybe a little bit less than what you have at other points in your career, which I have, you know, there have been a few years, especially when I was doing the acting supervisor thing, working on a higher pay level and going out, traveling around, working on route inspection teams all the time, all kinds of penalty overtime, working 6 days a week and everything, that I made more money than what I do these days, actually, you know, counting all that overtime and everything, even though I had a lower actual annual base salary. But your retirement is based on just that base salary. Ours hasn't actually gone up in the real world lately, since they haven't, you know, done our contract for almost 2 years. But eventually, of course, they'll get that straightened out somehow. And the way things typically go, your last 3 years at the post office are your high 3. But they're wanting to change that maybe and base it off of your high 5, which would result in your pension being based on a lower number, you know, because you average in those other, say, 2 previous years before your high 3, when you were probably making a little less. Even though it doesn't seem like a huge amount probably for most people, still overall, when you're talking about the retirement for you know, tens or hundreds of thousands of people over the course of history, that results in an actual, you know, pretty decent dollar amount. The other thing that they are talking about is a supplemental payment, like a bridge payment for, you know, certain federal employees. I think we're going to be part of some young kids' TikTok videos here. If you retire and you're not yet old enough to take Social Security, you can you get this like bridge payment based on what your projected Social Security income would be at the age of 62. So, like with me, I could have retired when I hit 60 with 25 years of service in, and they would have multiplied my projected, you know, Social Security benefit at the age of 62, I should say, and multiplied that by basically 25, 45th, or 40th, you know. So I'd have had like 5/8 of what my projected benefit would have been. Say if you were gonna have a $2,000 benefit at 62, I could have retired, say, at 60, and had, with that supplemental payment, like, you know, $1,250 coming in every month, plus my pension. But there was no way I was going to go before 62 anyways, just in terms of my pension at the post office. And then get, you know, the Social Security. That's the absolute earliest that I was really realistically planning to ever go anyways. But if they get rid of that supplemental payment, that's going to save them a lot of money, you know. Looking at all the turtles there. My wife talking to some little kid, looking at the turtles. But they, if somebody's going to retire early, you know, some of these guys that started with the Postal Service super early, like right out of high school and stuff like that, they maybe go at like 56, 57 years old and be getting a supplemental payment every month for 5 years until they're 62. That's a lot of extra money there, which under this new proposal, that wouldn't be there anymore for FERS employees.
Oh, wow. That's big. Look at this one.
I know, it's pretty huge. A snapping turtle down here swimming around. Ducks, snapping turtles, all kinds of stuff. But those are the two main things that I saw in that. The one of them really wouldn't affect me because, like I say, I'm not going until at least 62 anyways, which would be after this October. I was just gonna say how nice it is that I'm done with all my coughing and being sick for the last week and a half. If I talk too much here, then I'm probably gonna be. But it is really nice to, this last day, I haven't been coughing all day. It's so great. But that supplemental payment may be going away eventually, and it doesn't affect me in my current, you know, my case. But the one thing that would affect me is if they start to base things just off that high, you know, off of a high 5 years instead of 3. But realistically, it's not like they it's not like any of us with, you know, almost getting ready to retire right now are going to get any kind of super huge raise anyways. some of these guys at the post office have been talking about, man, if we get a nice raise like this last contract, maybe go ahead and stay on a little while longer just to boost their high 3, you know. Which that might be an added incentive too if they go to a high 5, if we got a really good raise, because then that if it was a really big raise over those last couple of years and you factor that all in, average it out, they might have more incentive to stay a little longer. Or otherwise they might just say, well, screw it, we're not getting what we hoped, so we're just gone anyways. Lots of people standing around the middle of the bridge talking. I brushed my arm up against the railing, I got shocked. That could have a big impact on things though. Like I say, it's not like we're getting this kind of huge raises or something where it's going to make an outrageous difference. If we had approved this last contract, you know, the high, you know, you're basically, your high salary right now is like $75,000 something at the post office for a top level carrier. And if we had approved this contract instead of voting it down, you know, by the end of 2026, you'd be up to about $84,000. So it's like a $9,000 difference. I hope that we don't get screwed in arbitration and end up getting even less than that. It'd be nice to think that we'd get more. But even if you say you got an example like that, where over the course of like 4 or 5 years, say you got your base salary went up from, let's say, 70,000 to 80,000, just as kind of like an extreme example. Then those last few years were the highest, you know, a good bit higher percentage, say work their way up to like 76, 78, 80,000. The difference in your high salary, you know, your average salary for your pension, if it's based on just those last 3 years, you know, maybe you're looking like 78,000. But if you had a couple years before those 3 years where you're down to like 70, 72, maybe your pension's going to be based on, say 75, 76,000, something like that. A couple $1,000s less a year. So the percentage, you look at it as what a percentage would be. It might not be a huge amount per year, but it'd make a little difference for sure in how much you're getting every month. So who knows what's going to happen. Thing is, though, if that happens, you may encourage some people to stay on for a little bit longer. Have a little boat ramp kind of thing here. And we got all the birds flying over. And they're gone. So interesting things coming up. Yeah. I was watching a video by Michael Bordenero, who I've talked about before. Nice videos, walking down around Miami where he lives, and talking about various different things about the economy. And that's what he's talking about too. All the warning signs from all the different retailers that are laying people off and closing stores and stuff, and what's going on with the economy. But like he said, job security is pretty much gone. What's that? Oh, a squirrel? Yeah, my wife is waiting for the squirrel to come over. But there's no such thing really as job security anymore, you know? We've had it a lot better at the post office and some of these federal jobs than most people have. I saw a guy the other day talking about how the years, the days of working 30 years for a company and then having a nice pension or whatever for them are over. They've been over for a long time, really. But he said the same thing I used to always say. I could never imagine working for somebody 30 years. And the only reason I managed to do that at the post office, man, been a long time, you know, but I've done a lot of different things, worked in different states. I was a carrier in 4 different states, was a clerk for a couple of years. I got back into the acting supervisor thing when I came down here to Florida, did that for maybe 6 years or so. Went out and traveled all over the state, you know, doing route inspections and stuff. So I've had a lot of different variety. I'm not like some of these guys that can just say, I'm going to stay here in this one route 25, 30 years in the same spot. You know, I was always too restless for that. But the Postal Service, it was really good. That was one of the things I liked about the Postal Service in the first place. Having that option to transfer around, maybe end up down here in Florida someday. That was always in my mind, even when I first took the job, because it's a nationwide company, you know, and you have those options, which you don't have with a lot of places. And that, plus the job security, people don't have that anymore. So I'm very grateful and happy for the fact that I had that. I mean, fortunately I made the good decision to grab that opportunity when I had it. But a lot of people don't have the chance to grab something like that. You see these people, it's like the one video I saw, the woman was talking about how her husband had been working at this place for 30 years, 56 years old, and they laid him off, got rid of him, closed that company, no pension or anything. And now I guess at this point they're in their 63, 64 years old and still working, when before they thought they'd comfortably be retired at 62. You don't have any idea what's coming down the road. Even with me, you know, you think you set yourself up with a nice secure thing, pension from the Postal Service, Social Security. I can't see them, as much as these billionaires want to steal that all from us, and these politicians who have been living off the government seat want to act like it's everybody else who's the problem, want to try and screw everybody. I still think, you know, there'll be a revolution in this country if they try to get rid of all this shit, you know. And so hopefully that won't happen. But it's like the old saying, which is a Yiddish saying, I guess, man plans and God laughs. And that's the way it is. Doesn't matter what kind of plan you make. You might think you got things wired, man. Everything good to go. And out of the blue, you're in a totally different situation. Nice sunset coming up here. But that's the thing. You just have to enjoy life while you're living it. Too many people sitting around thinking, well, someday I'll enjoy myself when I'm retired. These people work themselves into the ground, never enjoy themselves, do anything fun, and even when they do get old enough to retire and take that pension, next thing you know, they're dead. None of us knows what's coming in our life, with our health, with our job, our retirement. You have to do a certain amount of planning, but I don't know. It's like we were in this, where we got the UPS store the other day, I think. No, FedEx. And we were mailing something, sending a package somewhere out in California. And the lady, I said something about how I was going to be 62 this year. She's like, no way. And, which, I don't know, I think is strange because I think I look my age for sure, you know. But people are always telling me they can't believe I'm actually almost 62 years old, but could be, if there is any reason for that. What, the squirrels? Yeah, could be. Oh yeah, hi little buddy. If there is any reason for that, it's probably just because I still act like a kid, you know, and people just think the way I'm acting, they expect you to be old and acting like you're ready to die or something when you're in your 60s. I hope I've got at least another good 30 years of me. That's what I'm hoping for. But we're living in a time when, you know, the gig economy is probably going to be part of everybody's life. Doing little things to keep money coming in. Even though I'm at a point in life where if I needed to, at least I know I have that security now. Get to the end of this year, if I wanted to, I could take Social Security, draw my pension, It's not like a situation where a lot of people are in, okay, we're letting you go, your job is gone, and you have nothing except going out and doing Uber Eats or something. You know, at least I could still know I have some money coming in. You know, of course, my wife is young and working, but I know whenever I retire, she's not really interested in hanging out forever, working while I'm sitting at home retired, you know. But for sure, hopefully I have enough money go in the Philippines, you know. There's still plenty of options if you've got if you got at least some money coming in, you can take care of things. So here's my little buddies, the squirrels here. Hey guys. My wife is waiting for the duck to come over to her. Anyways, just getting out of the house, make a little video. Uh-oh, are you scared of the duck? After you saw him going off on that dog, right? But yeah, it's so nice down here right now. This weather, everybody's down here walking around. It's a nice time to be here. First day after changing the clocks, so it's still light an hour later, you know, on the clock, so that's good. Summer's coming, man. I think it's going to be a quick moving year this year. A lot of stuff going on. My wife's cousins from California, when they were here, I mentioned before, we went out, drove them around to look at a couple of houses. They ended up buying this one house over in Kissimmee, and so my wife will probably be helping them out with that, you know, have a key for the house and stuff. So if they do Airbnb it or something or whatever, they need things taken care of over there, or we can go over, hang out, use the pool or whatever, I guess. I don't know, keep an eye on things. But I think there's a lot of fun stuff coming this year, and I'm just happy to be in the space I am right now, because I know now it's so relaxing. I want to make more money. I'd like to have more, but knowing that you can just retire, have your pension and Social Security after all these years of telling people, even if we're in the Philippines and stuff, been telling people, oh man, it's going to be a long, long time before I can actually think about retiring and moving to the Philippines. But it's here, you know. The time is finally here now. I don't like the fact I'm older, but everybody gets older. Question is whether or not you're still having fun and living a good life, taking care of your priorities and looking after your health. I don't know what my flip-flop is stuck on. Huh? I don't know if I had a fishing line or something hooked into my... I don't know if hope there's not a fish hook on it.
Oh my god, yes,
It's wrapped around my toe. Somebody's got a fishing line out here. I didn't know you were allowed to fish here. Pull us in a nice big bass for dinner.
Me too.
Interesting.
There's the ducks will fin.
Yeah, I don't know who's got fishing line out here. That's kind of interesting. But I know this video is dragging on a while. For those of you who are still here, thanks. Nice to see you. Like I say, we're just chilling, enjoying sunset on the first day of the time change. I'm just so happy to not be feeling sick anymore. I haven't really been able to take care of my YouTube channel because I haven't been in the mood to make videos. Tried to put up a couple little things, you know. But man, so glad my throat, my ribs, everything from coughing all the time for a week. But now life is good again. Actually, I go back to work tomorrow for one day, And then Tuesday's my day off, so that'll be good. And then have 4 days to work, get back into the swing of things here. I was over in Jacksonville doing route counts for a couple of weeks, and then I came back for 1 day, was on vacation with our relatives here from California. And then I got sick, was off for most of the next week, went back this week, finally taking care of my route. All the people on my route telling me I'm not allowed to ever go on vacation or be sick again. One old lady was asking all the rotating list of CCAs who did my route while I was gone if I had retired or what. So I think I need to stay away from doing route counts and stuff, and I like my little routine I've got in my life at this point. My little thing with my wife and our little schedule we have, and do my route till I retire. Take care of my customers out there instead of leaving them at the mercy of all the CCAs. All the lights coming on now around the edge here. This video's gone on long enough though. Sorry to bore everyone. Obviously everybody has the option of tuning out if they want. It's going to be interesting, all this stuff going on, but there's not any of us who can really do anything about it, That's the thing about elections. Once you've voted a certain group of people in, you're at the mercy of them, at least until the midterms, See what they want to do with shit. If they try too much illegal stuff, then you have to count on the courts to kind of rein it in. But, fortunately, we have a system that kind of limits the amount of damage one person can do, hopefully, unless they have a lot of violent, worshipers who are willing to go out in the streets and forcefully take control of things. But that's what's nice about here in America. If you have people in Congress with any kind of a spine at all, if you have some crazy person that wants to do all kinds of illegal stuff that's going to rip the economy apart and all of that and destroy our, security and stuff, our relations with other people around the world, there is a mechanism to get them back out of there as soon as the next midterm. You can't really get like the president, you're not going to get them out of there. But at least, if people get too pissed off about them trying to take their Social Security and everything and their pensions and all of that, for sure, they can vote out the people in Congress who are enabling them and not have anybody there to rubber stamp these things anymore, So it's kind of a self-correcting mechanism if it works the way it's supposed to anyways. Keeps people from getting too far out of control and being too crazy just because they want to hold on to their own political power, and they know if they do something too stupid, either they're gone or the people that they're counting on to push things through for them are going to be gone. So whatever, you don't know what's coming. Just have to enjoy your life and see what happens. None of us can ever tell what's happening. But I don't know, I'm just happy in my life that things are going pretty well at the moment. That could change tomorrow for any of us, so who knows. But life is good. Hanging out at Crane's Roost on a beautiful spring night. No, it's not. It's still winter. It's not even spring yet. Sure couldn't tell it here in Florida, but anyways, until next time, maybe I'll think of something more important to talk about on Tuesday when I'm off work. Come back out here. Hey, look at my wife's t-shirt. See, this is what you have to deal with when you have a Filipina. She's not arguing, she's just explaining why she's right. Well,